My name is James Wanjeri, Advocate of the High Court. I sit here representing my client, Mr. Boniface Mwangi, who was arrested by the police. On my left is his wife, Njeri Mwangi, and on my right is Mama Evans Kiratu. Mama Evans lost her son, who was shot using a tear gas canister. Now, a letter was presented to state departments, including Parliament, the National Police Service, the Kenya National Commission of Human Rights, and the Office of the President. This letter was received by all these offices. And if you look at this letter, it stated, and it was giving a notice of a march that will be happening today at 11 a.m. And it says, we'd like to notify you that at 11 a.m. on Thursday, we have invited all Kenyans to present a petition to the Office of the President at Harambee House to demand justice for our fallen heroes. We shall then proceed to Parliament to lay flowers in memory of our brothers and sisters. We will carry flowers, photos of the heroes, and our national flag. We will convene at Kimathi Street, then march through Moi Avenue to Harambee Avenue, where we will present the petition before proceeding to Parliament Road to lay the flowers. We look forward to being provided with police protection. Now, this letter was received by the police. Unfortunately, earlier today, instead of the police providing the protection, instead of the police coming to guide the protesters, what we saw earlier today is that tear gas was used, ammunition was used against the same protesters. Now, Mr. Boniface Mwangi is being held at the Kamukunji police station. What is this charge? Causing disturbance and incitement. Yet, the reason he was going to the street was laid out and it was given to the government. He has followed the law with regards to what he needed to do. And he's not the only one who's behind bars. Evans Kiratu's auntie and uncle are also at Central Police Station. And his uncle is actually injured because in the course of being arrested, the police injured him. Article 37 of the Constitution is not a suggestion. Our Constitution is not a suggestion. It is very clear that every person has a right, peaceably and unarmed, to protest, to assemble in whatever place they need to. And the police have repeatedly said that notices have to be issued. A notice was issued. Why are they behind bars? That is a question we're here to ask. And as you've seen, it was very clear that a petition was going to be presented to Parliament and to the Office of the President. They were stopped from carrying out that constitutional duty. And when you hear what the President has been saying, yesterday the President was very clear. Those who have been arrested will be released. Why are we carrying out new arrests today? No one was injured on the side of the police. No looting occurred today. These were individuals who were exercising their constitutional right and they were stopped. I think we sit here because it is very sad that Kenya seems to be regressing, and more daily we see that our constitution is being treated as a mere suggestion. I will invite my colleagues here to read for you what this memorandum was saying so that we can determine what is it in this document that makes the government so afraid and causes them to actually attack innocent individuals, injure some of them, and as we speak now, they are not even receiving medical treatment. The lawyers are not being allowed to even speak to the people who are behind bars.
My name is Shakira Wafula. I'm an active citizen, and I'm going to read the People's Memorandum to the Office of the President on behalf of the families of victims of police killings. The demand to suspend, investigate, arrest, and charge in court of killer cops in the wake of the ongoing Gen Z protests witnessed across the country. We, the Gen Z, representing the nation of Kenya and people across all generations on this day, 25th of July 2024, being the 1-month anniversary since the senseless killing of young Kenyans when they occupied Parliament, do hereby petition the President William Samoei Ruto as following. We are shocked by the 60 killings of young Kenyans by police officers in the ongoing peaceful protests across the country, affirming that protests, demonstrations, and picketing are our guarantees under Article 37 of the Constitution of Kenya, 2010. Remembering that the protesters have time and again reiterated that they are peaceful and only exercising their rights and freedoms. Acknowledging the high costs of living and challenging economic hardships that Kenyans, particularly Gen Zs, are experiencing. We are perturbed by the lack of participation of Kenyans, particularly the Gen Zs, in key decisions affecting the country, including the finance bill and cabinet appointments. We are committed to bring change and fully participate in Kenya's democratic and governance process, and concerned that despite making available evidence of police excesses during the protests through various social media platforms, no action has been reported to have been taken against the rogue officers. We are united as one tribeless, partyless, leaderless, and fearless organic group with a following across the country.
Kenyans, led by Gen Zs, have come out in their millions to exercise their constitutional right to protest against the finance bill and other issues affecting the country all over. 2. According to various reports and records, 60 Kenyans have lost their lives through police actions during the peaceful protests across the country. 3. According to preliminary investigations, including postmortems, there is clear and visible evidence of shootings of innocent protesters. 4. Further, other postmortem reports indicate the use of blunt force trauma as a cause of death. 5. IPOA is mandated by law to offer oversight of the police and in the event of any excesses to deal with rogue officers. 6. To date, we have seen no action taken by IPOA or any other institution indicating either suspension, arrest, or charging the said killer officers in courts. 7. As peaceful protesters, we have also noted a pattern of attempts to profile our fallen comrades as criminals without adducing any evidence. 8. In our resolve, we commit to continue with our right to protest and hereby demand action by the Office of the President to avert further killings. And 9. Continued failure by Office of the President to take action against rogue officers through the relevant institutions will be construed to mean police are violating protesters' rights, including killing them with the President's approval. The demands will be read by colleague.
Comrades Power. Power. Comrades Ria. Ria. Comrades Ziggy Zaga. Ziggy Zaga. To the administration, we as the Gen Z movement have the following demands. With the above in mind, we hereby make these following demands. 1. That the Office of the President immediately issues a status report to Kenyans on the state of investigations of the 60 killings of our comrades in the recent protests. 2. That the Office of the President immediately confirms and shares with the public the official number, names, and details of comrades killed in the recent protests. 3. That the Office of the President immediately directs all relevant institutions, including but not limited to IPOA, IAU, DCI and ODPP to collect evidence in the next 7 days of police excesses shared by Kenyans, particularly the Gen Zs on social medias. Comrade Power.
Power.
That the office of the president immediately calls for the suspension of all officers highlighted in the social media using excessive force pending finalization of investigations. Comrades, Power.
Power.
That once investigations are complete, the office of the president immediately causes the arrest and charging in court of all rogue police officers for the murder and assault of protesters and journalists. Comrades, Power.
Power.
6, that the office of the president further calls for the resignation of officers in command, including OCSs of areas where killings were reported. Comrades, Power.
Power. Resign.
Last but not least, our 7th demand is that the office of the president immediately issues stern warnings against any officer who will be found using excessive force in dealing with peaceful protesters. Comrades, Power.
Power.
Comrades, Ria.
Ria.
Comrades, Akchu.
Achoo.
Thank you.